Hey guys, welcome to this third edition of My Hero Academia recap. Now today I'm going to explain the best and most handsome type of Nomu that exists. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, people. The high-end Nomus are the key thing that will ensure the villains eventually beat the heroes, and I say this because if you take them out of the equation, the heroes, yeah, they'll still be outmatched, but they'd at least have a chance. But these type of Nomus just make it, in my mind at least, make it impossible for the heroes to win. Especially when you consider the fact that Twice can just make copies of them, it just becomes very messy. Anyway, let's get into what makes them so much better, and I'll do my best to avoid anything that people might consider to be a real spoiler. So the high ends are a special breed that possess many advantages over regular Nomus. So starting with what they all have in common, each possess some form of intelligence and are actually able to hold a conversation. This high end right here was aware of the existence of hero rankings, and they were even able to identify a pro hero by name. Finally putting those big brains to use, huh? This intelligence allows them to make very tactical decisions in battle, as we saw in the Pro Hero arc. They're very self-aware and they know their own weaknesses. All the high-end Nomus that we've seen in the manga so far have possessed super regeneration. This essentially means even if they get hit really badly, they can just regenerate within a matter of seconds. One of them was even able to regenerate its entire body when only its head remained. We also saw this regeneration happen in a more recent chapter, so basically if you don't destroy them at their weak spot, then I hate to break it to you, but you have no chance, absolutely no chance. But on the topic of weak spots, so the weak spot for at least one high-end Nomu was its brain. I guess that's where all the magic happens, and I think it's safe to assume that this weakness also applies to the others, because if it didn't apply, then these guys are even more invincible than I thought. On the basis that their brain is the weak spot, there is this one high-end Nomu that seemingly has this covered. This guy right here, he has a freaking hard hat. I tweeted the other day that this one was particularly menacing. He even has shoes, for Christ's sake. Is it possible that this is what's left of Crimson Riot? I'd personally love if Crimson Riot was just retired and living out his life in Fiji or somewhere, but I'd say the odds of him being this high-end Nomu or Gigantomachia far outweigh that possibility. But this isn't a Crimson Riot theory video, so let's get back to the matter at hand. Just like normal Nomus, high-end Nomus have a range of multiple quirks. For example, we've seen the ability to store regular Nomus inside them, and also we saw muscle augmentation, which was a replication of Muscular's quirk. This plays into the fact that Dr. Ujiko can steal people's quirks and then replicate them in his lab. This is how he was able to give Twice's duplication quirk to one of his pet-sized Nomus. And it's also how he was able to essentially take All For One's power of being able to live forever seemingly and use it on himself. And he also used this replication in the My Hero Academia movie, as we've seen from the trailers, as the new villain 9 seems to possess All For One. What makes these Nomu really special is that they each have an individual personality of their own. This personality seems to be derived from the victim who was actually turned into the Nomus. We know this because the first high-end Nomu that we encountered was obsessed with fighting the strongest person he could find, and we later found out that his body was created from a street fighter who was obsessed with fighting the strongest opponents possible. Similarly, and minor spoiler alert here, Kurogiri is a Nomu as well, which kind of makes sense because his eyes are exactly like some of the high-end Nomus. It could be argued in fact that Kurogiri is in fact the highest of high-end Nomus. Anyway, he has a really caring personality, at least regarding Shigaraki, and I won't go into spoilers here, but let's just say that this is very similar to the traits of the character that he was made from as well. So this means that the other high-ends that we've seen, who are all, in my opinion, a little bit too excited to go crazy and start killing heroes, it's safe to assume that these were made from some absolute maniacs. But to conclude, the high-ends far outrank regular Nomus because of their super regeneration, amazing quirks. How are you storing Nomus within yourself? But most importantly, their intelligence. That is what makes them so special. It's basically like fighting a bunch of All For Ones. They have multiple quirks, they have super regeneration, which All For One doesn't actually have himself, and they're intelligent. They can make tactical decisions. You're pretty screwed when you come up against these guys. So putting it simply, they are just super annoying as it takes a massive effort to defeat them. And they're not even the main bad guys. You have to defeat them before you get to Shigaraki. But anyway guys, those were the high-end Nomu explained. We'll see them properly animated in Season 5, maybe a bit in Season 4 depending on how the pacing goes. Be sure to subscribe as I have a video coming explaining the full backstory of Catch you next time guys, peace.